Hello everybody, welcome to another Zabbix video. This time I will talk about Webhook to automatically close a problem inside Zabbix. Sometimes we have a situation when it's impossible to detect if the problem is gone, and then we can use this method like a delayed action to execute something like after 1 minute or after 1 hour, and this something will be actually like use help of API to close the problem with the API. The use case can be SNMP traps, for example. If we look forward to implement a lazy solution, and by lazy I mean we don't have the capacity to look into the MIB files and to create a template, then what we can do is like we can create this so-called fallback item, which will capture everything every single message device wants to say, and we can like forward the problem to the ticketing system, but we still need somebody to close the problem inside the Zabbix, and then this webhook can help. The implementation, since it relies on Zabbix API, we should have a look users API tokens, and here in my setup there is API token, and I have defined it at the global level, administration macro. Here it is, like this will be user macro. I'm using that in the different templates already, which really needs help of API to do some stuff. Second prerequisite is URL, so this is matching my web address in the web browser. These two are absolutely mandatory for the webhook to function. Now the actual webhook that is defined inside the alerts scripts, and it's currently missing, and I have automated this portion already, and it will be used I will use Zabbix API to install the webhook. Check the video description to see this JSON, how to install. I will click the button here, send the script, and now let's close and refresh the page. Here you go, like the webhook accepts 4 arguments, event ID, so it knows which event actually we need to close. This will be automated action operation. The second argument is like what should be the indication to kind of illustrate you that this is coming from the automation. Then this one was it's expanding to my web address, like we need to know where is the API. It's sitting behind the web server, and then this is the token, and then this is the API address, so it looks on my front-end address and adds automatically API JSON RPC. And inside the script it's using just API method event acknowledge, pass the event ID, and there is action, which is kind of like update operation to close the problem, and that's all the magic. Okay, now let's have a little bit illustration how this should be used approximately. So this is the webhook who can close something automatically. What I will do is create an action, alerts, actions, trigger actions, create action, and this action will target template, which I will share with you in a moment. And the template is like right now, like it will generate some kind of random events. So I'm targeting everything which comes from this template. That will also be in the description. And so close automatically, something like and web hook. And the operation here, the default operation will be 1 minute. Operation step, automatically close event in a minute. So that was the actual webhook I just installed, and the step, operation step. So I don't want the problem to be closed immediately. I want like after 1 minute. So then that's the reason why we have step number 2. And for the current host, add. And that's all the magic. So here we can clearly see it will execute 1 minute. After 1 minute when the problem sits on board, if I set here like 1 day and click the button, then the problem will be closed after 1 day. So it's up to you when you want to close, and in this tutorial I will illustrate to automatically close after 1 minute. Add. Now let's describe like what's inside the template. Inside the template we have like one item which executes every 12 seconds, and this item is just generating random number between 100 and 1000. And inside the trigger section, the trigger is looking just if the number is bigger than 0, it will generate a problem. The key thing here is like this guy, problem event generation multiple. So every time this criteria is true, it will generate +1 problem. It's like extra noise, but sometimes we need these trigger logics because it's like a workaround or easy way to approach the problem, and because we care about every single problem. Okay, so this is the kind of dummy template to illustrate how that automation will work. It's all we need is to create a host object. I will create one. It will be called generate or generator. Okay, and multiple. This is the template. Host group disco. Click. And that is everything. No interface is required. It completely relies on the JavaScript to generate that dummy data. Add. Okay, and so this host right now will start to generate the problems. Every 12 seconds it is generating the number, and if the number is bigger than 0, it is generating the problem. If we see here, like we have already like some problem on board. I will put this guy in the global search. That's like a very elegant way to see problems just for this host object. Click, and we can see like the noise is adding up. Like 22 seconds ago, one number was generated, and then like 10 seconds ago, another number was generated. Apply. So it is creating noise. As I said, like SNMP traps can be the use case here to protect ourselves to implement a solution which really generates +1 event for every single trap. Then like we need that multiple event generation mode, and now it's adding up. So hopefully the webhook like will kick in when the duration reach 1 minute or so, and we see something is happening here, and we can start to see like the closure happens to happen. If we click apply, we can see this message, so resolved by user API. So the automation works. The webhook is using API to kind of do what humans can do, and sometimes this is not what you want. Like you want a real human to investigate, to look what is the trap about. But if the end goal is to like integrate with the ticketing system, then like you want just to forward the trap to the service now and close in Zabbix, because it's hard to identify which like when the problem is gone, and we will we decide to blindly kind of close the problem, so it's not listing as an open problem inside the Zabbix. Okay, this is the dummy illustration. Let's a little bit cover how it can help the SNMP traps situation. Here templates, and the SNMP traps will use like generic by SNMP. So this is official module, 12 items, and it contains already the fallback item. Actually, I will create from scratch, create template, and like ultimate SNMP traps lazy solution. Hopefully I spelled correctly. Okay, and this will be modules. Click. Yeah, let's put this in the clipboard. Copy, add, and put it over here inside the template. Like there is a let's create item SNMP trap, and that item we look forward is fallback item. So fallback item is like the backup. Like device will send messages, and if we don't want to spend time creating like a very specific target or scope what we look forward, then fallback will capture everything. The type should be log, and that is a good start. Add. Creating the trigger for this guy, click, targeting that item, fallback, and let me like highlight. For a very long time, I always suggested to use this no data function, like use the setup like this, which is almost perfect, at least with the readability. So what it does is it's using no data function. And when targeting true, like if there is no data, then okay, it's fine. But if we target 0, it practically means like yes data. That something just put some message inside this item. Like this is the meaning. Like it's like inverse logic, I would say. We are not looking for true. We are actually looking for false. Because the no data is kind of skeptical when the data is missing, and there is no such function as yes data or data exist, and because of that we need like reverse logic, no data equals 0, which is like in the very moment something delivers here, we are firing up a problem. So title device send a message. This will be the title, and yeah. So no data. It's kind of not covering all the use cases, and I mean, it's not bulletproof. It will work most of the time, like 99% of the time, like this will work, and even 99.99, something like that. But when you later on, when we learn how it works, like this works every 30 seconds, it will evaluate, and it means practically if we send 3 traps in a time frame of 30 seconds, it's in a way it's like it's a disaster. I mean, like it can, actually it can work fine with the multiple, but usually we use single, and then it can be problematic to kind of have all those messages as a separate message and have 3 tickets for 3 different messages. A much better approach is like using function count and just blindly set. I want you to look at the last value and how and tell me like how many values you look at. It's very silly. It sounds silly because it is. So please look at the last very recent value and tell me how many values you see, and of course you will see 1 value. And this function will not cost any CPU resources while now nobody sends any messages. So it's like super elegant to have such a silly function. Okay, problem event generation multiple. Device send the message, and here the actual message. Let me use my cheat sheet. Let's put in the ticket description over here. So what it does is like SNMP trap is a multi-line data, line 1, line 2, line 3, and it's a trick to deliver full message inside the description in the event. Let's say we have integration with the ticketing system, then ticket description can be delivered as a body in the email or inside in the ticket. Okay, here everything is ready. Add. So this is the ultimate lazy solution to kind of capture absolutely all the traps and generate one ticket per every single message. Let's try simulate this thing. Create SNMP traps lab, something like that, and let's put interface something like 10.10.11.12, and proxy will be like this. And I will kind of illustrate that we can really mimic the traps. Okay, add. And I actually want to also like include this new template, which is lazy template, inside that automation. Alerts, actions, trigger actions, click. If the template is that, and the template is, come on, my bad, template, lazy, click, add, so template that or template that. Let's close the messages. Now simulation, and here we kind of need to know something about SNMP traps. I will just summarize for a tiny bit. And like for the traps to work, we set the proxy to read the log file and we enable the flag. I will not talk about UDP level right now, but all it matters is like somebody will insert some message inside the trapper file, and we can completely bypass the UDP level by manually injecting an envelope inside the file, and that's what I will do right now. And the syntax is super easy, like echo and ZBX trap, all caps, 7 letters, space, and we take the IP address. So this IP address is behind the proxy, put the IP address here, and then hello from Mars, and line 2, line 3, yeah, and we will tell like sudo t append inside this log file. So this is all the SNMP traps are expecting. It expects like this keyword ZBX trap with the IP address, and as long as this IP address is registered inside the interface, I mean in Zabbix behind correct proxy, it will recognize this 3-line message. Okay, enter, and going now in the template level, going to the triggers, and the trigger is in the problem state. If we look on this device, SNMP traps lab, put in the search and visit the problems, then device send the message, and inside the trigger description here is the message. And I can really bombard now with these messages. I can send another and another and another, and like edit something different in the message. Different, enter, and we have like a lot of messages here in Zabbix, and we will like, if device sends any trap, like this is a static thing, but the trap will be different. Here in the last example I included the word different. So yeah, in terms of integration with the ticketing system, these all guys will be forwarded, and now that automated webhook will hopefully kick in and start to also close these problems. And not always we want to do that, but if the team wants to always log the work, most likely they work with the ticketing system, and then yeah, the priority is to solve the problems inside the ticketing system. And now we can see like Zabbix, once the duration is longer than 1 minute, Zabbix is starting to close those all those events one by one. That is everything for this lab. Quite exciting, at least for me. to have such webhook. I'm actually in the Zabbix roadmap. There will be also, I know there will be a button to do this in a very native way by the menu. It's not today, but eventually it will be a button. But it's also nice to know this flexibility that we can take advantage of Zabbix API. As long as the session token is active, we can fully automate. And I would classify this workaround as set it and forget. It contains like 0 maintenance cost. So you do the clicking once and it's there and good. Okay, if you find this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. All the relevant templates, API calls I will put in the video description, and have fun. Goodbye.